How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. So I figured I would bring you guys a brief little video on our loadout. This is kind of the endgame loadout, if you will. I mean, we are in the endgame, and I have pretty much all my gear maxed out, and pretty much all of my skills. So it may take some time for you guys to get up to this point, but as far as like upgrading stuff, you can buy like the higher tier upgrades for maxing out your gear, like elite gems and void splinters and stuff like that. You can either get those from doing the events around the world, or if you're kind of impatient and you get enough money to spare, you can buy those from Ceridian or Seeker, depending where you are in the game. So this build, or well, builds or loadout, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it a loadout in this case. This is essentially a unlimited spirit loadout. It's going to be utilizing Antea and all her abilities, as well as pretty much using everything at our disposal, our rifle, everything, manifestation attacks, and any kind of damage boosts that we get through skills. So going over the gear first, we have melee and punch attack damage is increased by 10% for each manifestation and cooldown. So if you're starting off with Antea and you want to use up all your manifestations while they're in cooldown, whether you're using punch attacks or melee, that damage is going to be increased. Moving down to our swords, defeating an enemy with melee attacks increases the damage of the next manifestation. So, if you're using red and you defeat an enemy with melee, your next manifestation is going to hit for 70% more damage. Moving down to the rifle. Hitting an enemy with a rifle shot or the stock grants 15 banish points. So you can stack up your banish if you want, in other ways, whether that be through skills or other gear. But in this case, I only have a couple things building up banish, and more on the what's going to occur when we get the banish stage in a minute here. But I thought this was pretty good. And then we're hitting weak spots with the rifle that also restores health. So utilizing the rifle is not only going to give us banish points, but it's also going to give us health. Moving on to the amulet. Defeating an enemy with a banish refills the spirit gauge by 100%. Now, this is what I was talking about with the banish gauge. So whether you want to build up your banish gauge super fast, which honestly it's going to build up pretty fast anyway, or what have you. But in this case, once you defeat an enemy with a banish, your spirit is going to be restored by 100%. Now, also going into our skills, we're going to have another way to get all of our spirit back. So hence the reason why I'm calling this the unlimited spirit loadout. So down to the wristband, using leap increases the damage of the next punch by 150%, so that's always good. Leap has probably the shortest cooldown of all the manifestations, so you can pretty much use that a lot. And then going to our brooch, hitting an enemy with manifestation grants 7 banish points. So we're getting another 7 banish points from using our manifestations. The Bane Ring, damage dealt by Antea, increased up to 50% the higher the spirit gauge. So since we are replenishing our spirit a lot here, whether it be through a banish attack or what I will go into in a minute, the higher the spirit gauge, which we're going to have a high spirit gauge, the damage dealt is going to be up to 50%. So pretty nice. Now going into our skills, the main skill that you want here with the unlimited Spirit Loadout, which is pretty insane. Is this unstoppable skill? Now, once you get access to fusion through story progression, when you use fusion, when that ends, spirit points are fully restored. So yet again, your spirit is going to be fully restored after you use fusion. So two instances where your spirit's going to be restored. So you're going to be using Antea and her attacks non-stop here. Also getting more damage with the Banish and our next manifestation. So that is stacking manifestation damage there. We're also getting health back for defeating enemies with Antea. And also here, defeating enemies while in fusion restores 20% of health. So honestly, going through combat here with these skills, I have rarely had to, with all these active, I have rarely had to heal in combat, which is absolutely insane. You also want this, you want the cost of punch attacks during fusion to be reduced by 50% so that you can get more in with your fusion. Also, in terms of Banish, getting Banish back, if you defeat an enemy with a charged heavy attack, it refills the Banish gauge by 15%. We're using a lot of perfect switch attacks, so I have the ones active for forward dashes and back dashes, and then you switch to Antea, and you get, this will trigger a punch attack. There are also a bunch of skills I have active for triggering automatic punches, kind of like this one. It's not an auto punch, but the fourth attack increased damage the next manifestation. So more skills, like I was saying, that will trigger bonus damage. Also more synergy here. Banishing enemies refills the fusion gauge by 25%. So we're not only refilling the spirit gauge, we're also refilling the fusion gauge. Also, more bonus damage here. Each enemy hit by manifestation increases the damage of manifestations by 15% and can be accumulated. More synergy here with the rifle. Weak spot hits with the rifle restore 15% Banish points. This is going to stack on top of our gear. This is another attack with the perfect switch. After a second heavy attack, you can trigger a punch. Ignores resistance. More health regains here. Parrying, you can restore 10% health. Also, if you utilize this, if you get hit with red, you can increase the damage of the next heavy attack by 100%. When you switch to Antea, you can increase the damage of the next manifestation by 20%. This skill allows you to gain health when defeating an enemy with red, and spirit with defeating an enemy with Antea. You're also gaining manifestation cooldown by 15% when the spirit gauge is full. If you defeat an enemy with a manifestation, that also restores health, 7% health. Another perfect switch attack. If you parry, you can switch to Antea, do a punch. After you block, you can perfect switch to Antea, do another punch attack. With this skill, you can accumulate your punch attacks by 7%. Another perfect switch attack, third light attack. You switch to Antea, do a punch. Here's one of the auto punch attacks. The fourth heavy attack triggers a punch attack. More synergy here. Defeating an enemy with a punch attack refills the banish gauge by 20%. So after banishing an enemy, you can choose to do a couple different things based on your skills here, at least if you're doing them the way I have them set up. One of which is you banish an enemy and then do a heavy attack, and that will increase the damage by 200%. So you see all the synergy here. It is absolutely nutty. And like I said, you will not be healing very often. You can use Antea and her abilities pretty much infinitely. It's just insane. And you know, there's plenty more things that you can do that suit your playstyle in this game. It's a great system between the gear and then all these skills that you can utilize. As a refresher, these are each of the stats, and this is what they all do. That's banish damage, punch damage and perfect switch, hence why we're using a lot of perfect switch. Manifestation damage, red health, spirit points, and then health down here, spirit, physical resistance, and spectral resistance. So that'll do it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and hopefully this, if you decide to go this route and set this up the way I have, hopefully it helps you out and you have a lot of fun with it. I certainly did. So just to give you a brief screenshot of what all the skills look like in each tree again, that's what it looks like. So hopefully you all enjoyed, hopefully you're doing well. Stay tuned, more coming at you. Take care.